Good morning, everyone. It is Todd with Bowerly Consulting Services. I wanted to jump online and share something I've been learning here. So this comes from the book The Happiness Advantage from Mr. Sean Aker of Harvard fame and TED Talk infamy. This chapter is called The Zorro Circle. So if you guys have seen the Mask of Zorro movie with Antonio Banderas and Anthony Hopkins, you'll remember this scene. So Antonio Banderas' character, he really he just wants to jump in and start doing the sword fighting and swing from chandeliers and ride horses and do all the fabulous Zorro stuff that we're all familiar with legend, right? And he gets thrown into this circle, the Master's Wheel, as Anthony Hopkins calls it. Sean Aker calls it the Zorro Circle. So Antonio Banderas gets in the middle of the circle with his sword, and Anthony Hopkins says this to him. He says,
"This is called a training circle. Master's Wheel. This circle will be your world, your whole life. Until I tell you otherwise, there is nothing outside of it.
Captain Love is...
There is nothing outside of it. Captain Love does not exist until I say he exists."
The idea being is that he's going to practice things in a very small circle of influence. And once you master that circle of influence, once you can learn to control everything that happens within that circle, then you can start to expand that circle and increase your effectiveness in other areas and increase your influence on other people. I've got up there the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. This is the first habit in there, is being proactive, which is essentially saying, find your circle of influence and work within that circle of influence to be proactive. And as you do so, that circle can expand and grow, and you can start to have influence in other areas. Sean talks about things in this book from a standpoint of a feeling of control or happiness. We're mostly feeling like we're positive and happy and we're going to be successful when we have control over our environment. Well, you and I both know there's a whole lot of things that we can't control. I had a great supervisor that used to say all the time, it was his motto, control what you can. Essentially saying that, everything else, just don't worry about it. You're going to waste time and energy worrying about it. If you are focused on things that you can't control, it's going to sap your energy. It's going to sap your productivity. You're going to crush yourself under the weight of your own freakouts with things that you can't control. Instead, draw a small circle and do what you can to be effective. There's a couple of great stories that Sean talks about in this book, because this is a book and that is a film. I know the difference. This one example he says is there was a student who had pizza boxes and trash all over the place in the dorms in Harvard, and the cops were obviously rightfully frustrated with his emergency egress from that dorm room, right? And it's his lifestyle. It's just chaotic mess everywhere. So what Sean did is he says, okay, where are you going to be doing your work? At the desk. Okay, so let's draw a 3-foot radius around the desk, and let's keep everything clean. Let's clean it up and put everything back in its right place. The pile of papers, file it away, all that kind of stuff. And then you might jump to the conclusion, hey, once that's clean, now we'll do a bigger circle. No. He said, actually, I want you for 3 days to defend that circle against any intrusion. So if there's anything that mess that starts to intrude in there, clean it up. He said the student said it was really hard to do that. It was a challenge because obviously his lifestyle wasn't that way. And once you've mastered that, and that's what it means by mastering it, so prevent any intrusion into that, then expand it into something else. So when I work with many people for job search, and they come to me and they're in the middle of a career transition, they're unemployed, or they're looking to make a jump, the first thing they want is they want a review of your resume. They want a review of the LinkedIn profile. They want to talk about the interview question that just, kills them every time. And that's not where I start with people. You are the place to start. So I draw a Zorro circle around someone's capability, around their skill set, around their past accomplishments, around their personality. I think that self-awareness is the biggest thing we need to master first. So here's what I have everybody do in the very beginning. Go to 16personalities.com. It's a fantastic personality website, kind of riffs on a Myers-Briggs typology thing. Take their free test. Print it out and read it. And there's like 8 pages. There's so much good information in this personality test. There's a lot of great strengths and characteristics. And that's why I tell people, I said, get a highlighter. Boom. Get a highlighter and highlight everything on that personality test that's a positive. Every strength, every characteristic that's a positive. Ignore the negative. We already know what's wrong with us. We already know our weaknesses, right? But watch all that stuff that's positive and highlight it and make notes, because that's your core strength, your core personality traits. And I need to sell your personality to an employer. That's what's going to make them think that you're going to be the best person for the job. Is, wow, you are really a great fit. Your personality fits with my company. You got to know what it is and know what those strengths are in order to be able to sell it, right? That's your Zorro Circle. Have great, fantastic, deep awareness about who you are, what your strengths are, and how they benefit an organization. Once you do that, then we can start to communicate that. We communicate that in your LinkedIn, in your resume, stuff like that. Then we can answer questions appropriately once we have a core group of strengths to work on. That's your Zorro Circle. You can apply this to anything. If you have a big job, a big challenge, something that is really intimidating, instead of freaking out about the things that you can't control, draw a Zorro Circle around it. Master everything in that circle for a period of time and then expand it outward. It's how you help to feel like you're in control. It's how you can actually see that your efforts change the world around you. Once you master those efforts, grow that circle of influence a little bit bigger. Does that make sense? Anyway, pick it up. It's awesome. Not just this book. Pick up the movie. Watch the movie. If it's been a while, it's fantastic. You should go see it again. Also, remember my affirmation. I am the ideal candidate. It's about your mindset. It's about preparing you for your career transition. It's an affirmation for those that are job seeking or career minded. If you'd like a copy of it, send me an email to bowerlyconsulting@gmail.com and I will send you a copy. Let me know how it goes for you. I'd love to hear about it. Anyway, take care. Have a great day. Bye.